Hi guys, welcome to another watercolor tutorial. As you can see, we're painting a stag with ornaments hanging down from his antlers. So I'm gonna have, you can have two or I guess three would be the most symmetrical. So I'm gonna have one hanging off of the ear like an earring, one off of an antler, and the second one a little bit longer off of the antler as well. Something like that. We can always change that afterwards. But I honestly just went online and looked up a picture of a stag. And that's this mishmash that you see here. So I encourage you to do the same unless you want a freehand, and all power to you if that's what you want to do. So I've got 10% left on my filming camera, so let's hope that we can get through this in a relatively swift fashion. I am taking brown. We are going to be working with lots of brown for this little guy. And I do encourage you to look up a picture so you have a reference of how to paint this, because I find that deer, stags, moose, like that, all those animals are really challenging to paint because they've got so much detail on the face that this is probably going to be largely like a looking tutorial where I really just encourage you to look instead of me trying to explain what I'm doing, because it's going to be hard to try and explain what I'm doing. I do have the ear here, so I just want to do that. Something like this. And the ear has sort of like this beige inside, and it's very furry. Do I even have beige? And I guess I could use gray. Gray would work too. Whoops. Sometimes just blend out the brown instead of trying to find the color that works. Okay, so moving along with our stag here. I'll do the antlers at the end because they're kind of like the easiest to do, in my opinion. Now, what would be really hard is if my baby woke up from her nap, because we're kind of at a part where I can't stop painting because it's all wet, like wet on wet, and if I stop painting, it'll dry and it won't look very nice if I continue it after it has dried. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, the face, I added gray there because that's what I'm seeing in my reference here. I have like a little white line. The snout, I'm also going to leave, I think, for now, because it is a little bit more involved. And it helps when you're, I guess the piece of advice that I can give you is when you are sketching out the face, your pencil lines should be like your shadow lines. That's probably the easiest thing to do, because then you have a reference for your shadows, obviously. So like this part is all white. It's like white fur. And this part is also going to be much brighter because it's around the eye. So I'm just leaving like this white gap around there. And like this. The ear. Massive ears. And they have these little like black ends on the ear, and there's a little bit of black on the inside here, a little bit of black there. And just using water helps a lot. Like just using the water to blend out what you have, when, especially for like lighter sections or white sections, it helps. So I'm painting this. And I kind of have to decide, you know, how much of this head I want to paint, because obviously it's going to turn into the body, and I don't want to get into painting the body. So we're just going to fade this out with water so that it kind of has a natural end. And this should be not the way it is. Lifting off some of that. So we're making good progress so far. Right now it's a good base for what we have, but there's still a lot of work to be done here. So I'm gonna work on the snout. You would think, I live in a forest, I see so many deer, that I'd have a little bit of a better idea of how to paint this. My advice would be to leave a bunch of white space, and then you can always fill that white space in later, but sometimes that white space ends up looking very intentional and very good, and then, you know, you just leave it like this. I think I'm gonna leave a lot of these white lines exposed as they are, because it looks pretty good to me. So we gotta connect this. Fade that out a little bit. Fade that out a little bit. It's fading out a lot. The black has this natural transition to a nice white. Oops. Okay. So it's a good base. It's a very good base, but I This is one of those times, guys, where I really don't quite know what I'm doing. I'm going with the flow and hoping it all comes together in the end. So let's just do the eyes, because this stag is looking a little bit creepy without eyes. I'll add the eyelashes. And then why do my eyes always look like that? It's not the first time. This poor stag. I'm sorry, my friend. I made that stick out way too much. We can fix that with acrylic paint, so don't worry if yours looks similar. But this is looking a little bit silly. Oh my gosh. This is 2-year-old painted this. Oh my goodness. Okay. I do want to fade, like, it's quite intense, this eye. So I do want to fade some of that color out before it dries. That looks a little bit better, but it kind of looks like a female deer, not a stag. And this poor deer stag has some eye problems. We'll fix that. I'm hoping we'll fix that. I just have to let it totally dry, and then we'll see how much my acrylic paint can really do on top of that. But anyway, taking brown, I want to smooth out all this. It looks quite... You know why this looks like a female rather than a male? Because this, like, the head is not broad enough. So I gotta add, well, I mean, it's also because I painted it, so probably not the best. I'm used to painting landscapes, so when I challenge myself to do stuff like this, it's inevitable that it's not going to come out looking, you know, Picasso worthy here. But we try, we fail, we learn, and repeat. You know what, guys, this looks, it looks bad and good at the same time. I can't figure out why this looks so feminine. I do really want to fix that poor eye on this animal, but it's still wet. So I need to come back to this. So let me blow dry this, and then we'll see what we can do. Okay, I'm hoping that this is dry. I'm gonna go ahead and try and fix this eye quickly. So I have my acrylic paint. It's sticking out too much. That is the problem. So we're gonna try and make it flush with the, yeah, just make it smaller basically. Great, that woke my baby up. But I think she put herself back to sleep. I don't know if that did very much, honestly. I think I also made it just too big on this side. On the side, like side closest to the face. Okay. The other thing I have to do is smooth out these lines, these black snout lines, because they're not supposed to be jaggedy. They're a lot smoother in an animal. So, oh, I just made it worse. Like this is the nostril, I think. Okay. I think what I'm gonna do after I add this eyelash back to this poor stag and then erase this eyelash. Okay, that eye looks a little bit better. I hope you guys agree with me on that. I'm glad we troubleshooted that because that was a little bit comical. I've done that before. I can't remember what I was painting, but man, my eyes, like, poor dear. We're gonna paint the antlers now. I need them to be a bit darker than that so that there's a contrast. So I'm starting with these ones first because there's nothing hanging off of them. And they're on the left, so I don't want to smudge anything. So there's the one. I'm going to try and blend that base in a little bit. There we go. And then we've got our second one. It's going to be behind the ear. I realized I didn't really finish this ear off, but that's okay. This can be like kind of an abstract stag. So after I've painted this tutorial, I cannot believe it, one left for 2024. That is really crazy for me because it's May. And I don't think I was gonna stop there, but based on how things are going with life plans, I don't think that I will, like, I'm just gonna keep going into January and February to give myself a buffer just in case. As much as it would have been nice to stop, you know, after painting so much over the last few months, I like to give myself a break over the summer. So it'll be nice to have a bit of a break. Once I'm done, January and February. Okay, so I think that is good. I think what I want to do actually is, if I can, lift off some of that paint, because I want to add a bit of shadowage and highlights and whatnot. And I can't do that if it's mega dark. You won't be able to see anything. So while that is drying, we'll figure that out in a bit. I am gonna start on these bulbs. So I'm gonna take, no, I'm not gonna do the strings first. I'm gonna do the little bulbs first. So we're gonna take red, and you can make yours different colors if you wish, but I'm just gonna stick with red because it's a nice, it's a Christmas color. Sometimes it's really easy to paint perfect circles free-handed, and sometimes they give me trouble. Okay, so we've got our ornaments. I do want to add a little bit of, so I'm going to pick up color just with a, like, dry, not dry, but clean paintbrush. I'm picking up some of that color. And I don't know if you can see this on your end through the camera, but I can see the pencil marks through that. This is why we always, or in my tutorials, I typically say, like, erase some of your sketch so that it doesn't show through. That's why. But I'm just gonna grab some black. Whoops, that is way too much, way too much. I just wanted to add a bit of shading on this side. Boo-doo-doo. Do-do-do-do-do. Okay, I'm just ruining it. As I keep going, I'm making this worse and worse. I'll just try and maybe go over that with acrylic paint in a moment, because I really don't like, if I just keep going, I'll keep making it bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually it just won't look like an ornament anymore. I am taking black now. Oh my gosh. Can you tell that I'm like frustrated beyond measure at the moment? I don't know why I did black. I should have done white. Oh, it looks so bad. Oh, I'm really frustrated at the moment, if you can't tell. You know what? Just to spite my paintbrush, I'm gonna say, haha, no more for you. I'm using a black pen instead to paint on, or to draw on the strings. Haha, paintbrush. You thought you could outsmart me. You still did, but. So I wanted to add, I don't even know if this is a good idea, to add like white acrylic paint highlights on the antlers. No, I don't like how that looks at all. Oh my gosh. I wish there was an undo button in real life. You know what I've thought of many times in my life? Like ever since I was a kid, I was like, wouldn't it be nice if in our entire life we got like 3 wishes? And it could be anything, you know? It could be, I wish that I could go back 5 seconds and not do what I just did. It could be anything. And I just remember thinking every time I thought that, because I've thought that like at least 100 times in my life, after I did something I wish I didn't, would I have used one of my 3 wishes to go back and not do that thing? And I always say no. I would not have gone back because that was not a big enough of a deal. So I think I still have my 3 wishes. No, I would have used one of them to probably get rid of my baby's eczema, but okay, I'm gonna blow dry this and then we're gonna fix some things. Okay, I'm going to fix this ornament. Make it circle again. And I'm going to, actually before I paint that spot, I am going to erase the pencil marks that I put down. And then we are just going to plop some white down. There we go. And you can see that my eye, I have to kind of go over it one more time. I'm also going to add some little glares on the bulbs. Okay. The last thing you can do, I'm going to end it here because I'm pretty sure my battery's about to die, but you can also add a Christmas greeting if you want to give this as a card. But other than that, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.